Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Elsya Windia Sari. I'm from PBI2 class. My student number 18 20 20 50 52. First of all, the Honorable Member Maina MPD as a lecturer of subject educational research and my beloved friend that watched this video. So, in this video, I'm going to explain about my research. The title is The Effect of the Zoom Applications on Students' Online Learning during the COVID-19 pandemic of the 11th grade students of Senior High School of Muhammadiyah 8 Palembang. The first one, I will explain about the type of this research. The kind of the research is qualitative research. The research is expressed in word. It is used to understand concept, thought, or experience. Common this method include interview with open-ended questions, observations described in word. The purpose of this research is to know the effect of the Zoom application on students' online learning. And we continue about the research problem. Students think online learning is not effective in teaching and learning process. Based on the problem of the study, there are two research problem or research questions. They are, the first one, how is the effect of the Zoom application on students' online learning during the COVID-19 pandemic at the 11th grade students of Muhammadiyah 8 Palembang? And the second, does Zoom applications as an online learning medium is effective for students? So, based on the research problem that I have explained, the aim of this research are the first one, to know the effect of the Zoom application on students' online learning during the COVID-19 pandemic at the 11th grade students of Senior High School of Muhammadiyah 8 Palembang, and to find out the effectiveness of the students' applications as an online learning medium for students. Okay, the next part, the literature review, appropriate journals, report, monograph, and so on, should light on what is already known about the problem and should indicate logically why the proposed study would result in an extension of this prior knowledge. My literature review consists of the meaning of online learning, the type of online learning course, the advantages and disadvantages of online learning, and the meaning of Zoom applications, the step for using these applications, and then the advantages of Zoom applications and disadvantages of Zoom applications. According to Dole and Aurora 2019 state that online learning encompasses a range of technologies such as the World Wide Web, email, chat, new group and text, audio and conferencing delivered over computers network impart education that helps the learner to learn at their own space. This according to their convenience. What about Yulia 2020 state online learning is a distinct learning model which utilizes informations technology and internet access for supporting the educators and students during the teaching learning process. For the educators, that is an alternative way to teach their students, and is about Zoom applications. According to Prativi et al. 2019, that application Zoom or Zoom Cloud Meeting is very useful alternative application for virtual meeting to facilitate communication with many people without making direct contacts and be able to support learning needs in today's digital era. Okay, now about ethics. Ethics refer to question of right and wrong. When researchers think about ethics, they must ask themselves if it is right to conduct a particular study or carry out certain procedures. That is whether they are doing ethical research. These ethical principles means that researchers, you need to avoid plagiarism. Researchers ensure that the source are not deception, keep the research data properly, obtain information consent from potential research participants, and then obey the regulations of research. And researchers must minimize the risk of harm to the participant, and researchers ensure that participants in research study are protected from physical harm that may arise in the process. Okay, the next part is about variables and hypotheses. The variable of this research, the first one, variable dependence. The 11th grade students of Senior High School of Muhammadiyah 8 Palembang, and variable independent, Zoom applications on students' online learning. And what about the hypothesis? The hypothesis is the Zoom applications as an online learning medium is very effective for students. Okay, now I talk about populations and sample. The populations of this research are the 11th grade students of Senior High School of Muhammadiyah 8 Palembang, and the sample of this research are one class IPA and one class IPS from 6th class of the 11th grade students of Senior High School Muhammadiyah 8 Palembang. The sampling method is non-random sampling. Okay, next, instrumentations. This research is located at Senior High School of Muhammadiyah 8 in Palembang, that is collected in 4th semester of the 11th grade students, one class IPA and one class IPS. From 6th class of the 11th grade students of Senior High School Muhammadiyah 8 Palembang, the participants were asked to fill out a questionnaire that was distributed online via a Google form. Okay, now talk about validity and reliability. Validity refers to appropriateness, meaningfulness, correctness, and usefulness of the inference a research makes. And meanwhile, reliability refers to the consistency of score or answer from one administration of an instrument to another and from one set of items to another. So as researchers, we must consider whether our instrument that we use valid and reliable or not, depend on the context in which an instrument is used. To know our research is valid and reliable or not, we have to learn or we have to ask to the expert, for example, lecturer or teacher or another expert in this case. And next, internal validity. Internal validity, it means that any relationship observed between two or more variables should be unambiguous as to what it means rather than being due to something else. Threats to internal validity such as subject characteristic, loss of subject, mortality, location, instrumentations, testing, history, maturations, attitude of subject, regressions, and implementations. And there are general techniques for controlling threats to internal validity. The first one, standardizing the conditions under which the study occurs, such as the way in which the treatment is implemented, or in intervention studies, the way in which the data are collected, and so on. This helps control for locations, instrumentation, subject attitude, and implementation threats. And the second, obtaining more informations on the subject of the study, that is, on relevant characteristic of the subject, and use that information in analyzing and interpreting result. This help control for a subject characteristic, trait, and possible mortality trait, as well as maturations and regression traits. And the third, obtain more information on details of the study, that is, where and when it takes place, extraneous events that occur, and so on. This help control for location, instrumentations, history, subject, attitude, and implementation traits. In this table, for subject characteristic trait, the technique for controlling the trait are obtaining and using more information on the subject of the study and choosing an appropriate design. And for mortality, the general techniques for control the trait same as subject characteristic are obtaining and using more information on the subject of the study and choosing an appropriate design. And for locations, the techniques for control the traits are standardizing conditions, obtain more information on detail, and choose an appropriate design, and so on until implementations. Okay, I think that's all for my explanations about my research. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.